Caption Close Guantanamo Bay Naval Base, Cuba, AP, Abdel Latif Nasser got what he thought was the best news possible in the summer of 2016. One of his lawyers called him at the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center and told him that the U.S. decided he no longer posed a threat and could go home to Morocco. The prisoner allowed himself to get excited, to think about Moroccan food, imagining he would be home in no time. "I've been here 14 years, he said at the time. A few months more is nothing." But his optimism turned out to be misplaced. A diplomatic agreement that would have allowed him to go free was not returned by Morocco until December 28, 8 days too late to meet a deadline to be among the last prisoners to leave under President Barack Obama. Now, he is one of 5 prisoners who the U.S. cleared to go but whose freedom is in doubt under President Donald Trump. "We had hoped until the last moment that he might still be released," said Shelby Sullivan Bennies, the lawyer who told him about his pending release and shared her notes from the conversation. "When it didn't happen, we were crushed. That 8-day foible has turned into a potential lifetime of detention." The Trump administration has not released any prisoners and not added any to the list of cleared men who can go home, or to a third country, for resettlement. There were 197 transferred out under his predecessor and more than 500 under President George W. Bush. Obama sought to close the detention center but was thwarted by Congress because of objections over transferring any of the remaining detainees to facilities in the U.S. It is entirely unprecedented for an administration to take the position that there will be no transfers out of Guantanamo without regard to the facts, without regard to individual circumstances, said Pardis Kebri-Ei, a detainee attorney with the New York-based Center for Constitutional Rights. The administration has not announced its policy toward the detention center. But Trump said on Twitter before he took office that there should be no further releases from Gitmo, as it's often called. "These are extremely dangerous people and should not be allowed back onto the battlefield," he said. Air Force Maj Ben Sacrison, a Pentagon spokesman for issues related to Guantanamo, said detainee case files will still be reviewed on a periodic basis, but the government is still considering whether or not to transfer detainees. A National Security Council spokeswoman, Tara Riegler, noted that the president has said the detention center will remain an available option in the war on terrorism. She said he will make any decisions related to detainees on a case-by-case basis and in the best interest of the United States, but she declined to go into further detail. The possibility that former Guantanamo prisoners would resume hostile activities has long been a concern that has played into the debate over releases. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence said this summer in its most recent report on the subject that about 17% of the 728 detainees who have been released are confirmed and 12% are suspected of re-engaging in such activities. But the vast majority of those re-engagements occurred with former prisoners who did not go through the security review that was set up under Obama.